guys, and we are back with part 2 of this microphone review. Deja vu, we are actually in the same room. I finished building out my studio and I'm already recording in here with all of my other work, so I figured this will be perfect. I have my new preset to test these microphones with now, so you can hear the difference of how these microphones may or may not perform in the same space, just depending on soundproofing. How wonderful. So this is my AKG C414. This is my regular recording microphone. It runs you about $1,000. Some of the differences between this microphone and these FiFINE microphones are I can change the directional pattern on my microphone. I have 5 different options. I always keep mine to the voiceover setting, but if I wanted to switch directionality, I can have it capture noise from all around. I can have it capture from 2 ends. I can have it capture more from one end and a little bit from the other. I have a bunch of different options. And then on this side of the microphone, you can see these 2 buttons here. I can control what my noise floor decibel will be, and I can also control, I think I have some control over the gain, but I use my interface for that. So what I'm gonna do is record a couple things like we did with the last video on this microphone, and then we can compare how my regular microphone compares to these affordable microphones. Let's get to it. So I already have my new preset on here. We're gonna hit play. So now let's whisper into the microphone, and we're going to adjust our gain as you see me doing right here. Today you are you. That is truer than true. I'm going to apply the preset, save this file, put in the new microphone, and do this again. Just my luck. I recorded this again and forgot that my camera falls asleep after 30 minutes. So I have no idea when it fell asleep. So I'm gonna have to record this again. Okay. All right, and we are back with the dynamic microphone. Let's get started. 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish. This is a very soft whisper, and I'm peeking right where I want to. That also sounds phenomenal. Look right here. This right here is me wiggling the mic a little. You could hear it, but I'm wiggling the mic a little, and then I saw that and I decided to sit very still. Super quiet. You don't hear jack diddly. That is wonderful. Now let's move on to the projection. The wraith never dies! Yeah, honestly, guys, I got nothing to complain about with this microphone. For $37, I wish this was around when I first got started in voiceover. This sounds great. So the microphone itself is really fantastic. A+ rating. Let's move on to the condenser mic. All right, and now we are on to our final microphone of the day. This is the condenser microphone, the K669C condenser mic. For voiceover, I would go with a condenser mic. Let's jump into it. 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish. So we were just a little bit high. I could have brought the gain down even more. I was sitting at like maybe 71%. So this is a nice, sensitive microphone that will pick up a lot of frequencies and a lot of different volumes in your voice. So I didn't overblow anything. This is just fine. I was still below -3. Okay, I think this is a good volume to whisper at. Today, you are you. All right, and now we're going into the opposite sides of the spectrum and see if we can yell. See if we can yell. Don't put that in there, Bella. The wraiths never die. Once again, this is a winner. These microphones are both really good, very impressive, very affordable. There is no reason that I can think of not to get these microphones, and I'm actually very happily surprised. Finally, I'm going to switch back over to my normal mic, and then we'll listen to all the files together. All right, and we're back with the final leg of this video where we're going to compare all of the microphones together, including comparing it to my AKG. So you can see how it measures up to $1,000 microphone. We're going to start comparing the condenser mic with the dynamic mic. One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. Black fish, blue fish, old fish, new fish. This one has a little star, this one has a little car. Say, what a lot of fish there are! One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. Black fish, blue fish, old fish, new fish. This one has a little star, this one has a little car. Say, what a lot of fish there are! And now the dynamic mic. One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. Black fish, blue fish, old fish, new fish. This one has a little star. This one has a little car. Say, what a lot of fish there are. Between those two, you should be able to hear quite a difference. Just like in the first review that I did, I described the dynamic mic as having a little bit of that telephone filter quality to it, where it just sounds a little bit different. It's not so up close and personal and intimate. It sounds like maybe it doesn't pick up on some of those very high frequencies in the voice quite as much, or it just has a different shape to it in my mind. They both sound good. My preference for regular speaking is the condenser microphone. Now let's compare the whispering. Today you are you. That is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. Today you are you. That is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. And now the dynamic. Today you are you. That is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. Once again, I think both of those sound really good. My preference with this one is still the condenser mic. And you might feel differently, which is fine. With this one, I think for things that are getting very quiet, I might prefer the condenser mic because it's able to pick up maybe on a little bit more nuance. The dynamic mic sounded great. It picked up everything that it needed to. It just sounded a little bit damp, if that's the right word. Like a little bit more like tamped down, if that's even a word. It just sounded, I just preferred the condenser mic. It seemed a little bit more well-rounded. Now let's listen to the yelling. Condenser first. The wraiths never really die. The heart endures, and we harvest the energy. The wraiths never die. The heart endures, and we harvest the energy. And dynamic. The wraith never dies. The heart endures, and we harvest the energy. And with that as well, you hear a little bit of a difference. I'm going to say that with that one, that's what the dynamic mic really is specialized in, handling those high volumes. And I think that the dynamic microphone beats the condenser mic on that scenario. And if I were to do video games, I would probably switch over to the dynamic microphone just because it gives you that more well-rounded tone. Whenever you're really yelling into a condenser mic, because it's able to pick up on those finer frequencies, it gets maybe a little bit thin, maybe a little bit unsupported. With the dynamic microphone, it really feels full and supported throughout that recording, but they both handle them very well. Now let's compare the condenser. Let's compare the dynamic to the AKG. One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. Black fish, blue fish, old fish, new fish. This one has a little star, this one has a little car. Say, what a lot of fish there are. One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. Black fish, blue fish, old fish, new fish. This one has a little star. This one has a little car. Say, what a lot of fish there are. And obviously this is a condenser mic. That one's a dynamic mic also, but you can definitely hear the quality difference. I don't know if you've ever seen those videos of people musicians who play like a $700 violin versus a $10,000 violin, and you may or may not be able to hear the differences, or you may not have a preference of one over the other, but you can hear that there's a kind of difference. It's the same thing here. I obviously prefer my C414, and it's also 30 times more expensive than this dynamic microphone, so I feel like that's fair. But this just has such a great quality sound to it. And that dynamic mic, like I said, it's built more for different types of recordings. So it has more of that radio kind of quality, podcaster quality to it. Now let's do the whisper. Today you are you. That is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. Today you are you. That is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. So I'm going to say that the difference between those two, once again, you can hear a big difference. And I think with a very expensive mic like mine, it almost like seems to adapt to whatever you're doing in a very natural way that I don't have to necessarily master it towards. Granted, my preset is geared for this microphone and the sound that's coming from this room, so perhaps that has something to do with it, and you can do a really great mastering process with any microphone that you have. But like this just really captures all of the frequencies in a really nicely balanced way. The dynamic microphone sounds really great, and it actually has like a nice quality to it that's kind of nice to listen to. But there's like just very, very, very subtle things that are like feel a little bit clipped or feel a little bit bassy or feel a little bit over muted. And that's me being super picky. That's me like constantly listening to things like this all day long and being judgmental about them. But that's me being super picky, trying to like really analyze this. I think that it sounds great either way, but that's the difference that you hear between the two. Now for the yelling. The wraiths never really die. The heart endures, and we harvest the energy. The wraith never dies. The heart endures, and we harvest the energy. So this is kind of similar to the last one where the condenser mic did a great job, and I use that all the time for my video game auditions, and I think it sounds really good. But there's just something about that foundation and support that you get in a dynamic microphone whenever you're yelling into it that I think sounds really nice. So I think both of those perform really well, but at least you can hear the differences between the two. Now, very quickly, we'll do the condenser versus the AKG. We'll start with the AKG first. One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. Black fish, blue fish, old fish, new fish. This one has a little star, this one has a little car. Say, what a lot of fish there are. One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. Black fish, blue fish, old fish, new fish. This one has a little star, this one has a little car. Say, what a lot of fish there are. Yeah, so those differences between those, once again, there's really not anything to criticize on these other two microphones. It just sounds different. I, again, like the full quality of my microphone, and on the condenser mic, it's a little bit thin. It's got a little bit of that kind of feeling to it. It's a little bit, unsupported at that top, which I would say you would just master it accordingly. But it's solid. Put me down, said the fish. This is no fun at all. Put me down, said the fish. I do not wish to fall. Today, you are you. That is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. Yeah, once again, the only difference that I really hear is my AKG is able to pick up a little bit more of that bass and support that a little bit more, but they both sound great, and they both are condenser microphones, so they're behaving in the same way. Overall, I think these are awesome microphones. I wish these were around whenever I first got started. For $37, both of these are wins, and if it's within your budget, get both. See you guys next time.